Morning, lovely viewer. The problem with making videos in the format that I do, this sort of rough and ready, one clip, start recording and all the way to the end of the video. The problem with that is that quite often you're not going to see my roses looking in their finest sort of fettle, their finest condition, particularly when I do just one video per month. But this rose here, this is rose Pomponella, and I think this rose deserves a video all of its own because it's currently looking towards its finest. And this is a rose, it's its third year in the ground. This is its third year, and this is second flush. And if I was to wait until next month, you wouldn't get to see it. So I wanted to show you this rose in all its glory for a young rose, for second flush as well. This is doing fantastically well. It really is. This is a rose, it gets sun from probably 9 AM, 10 AM, all the way round into the latter parts of the evening. So it gets plenty of sun. And just look at this. It's third year in the ground. And you have to remember that this rose, it hasn't been watered for over a month. We've got hosepipe ban here, and we've got moles, as many of you know, attacking my sort of garden. Look at that. And there's many of these roses, flowers, they're over a week old. Now yesterday we did have plus 30-degree heat, and you can see these roses have not batted an eyelid. They have not batted an eyelid at all. Now this stem here, I might have to zoom in on that, because believe it or not, there is over 100 buds on one stem. This is the party piece of Pomponella. That there is all one stem. Now this is a rose, it's grown at least, I would say, plus 5 feet. That's a 7-foot fence, plus it's got a scaffold board at the bottom. So yeah, plus 5 feet I would suggest in its third year. Fantastic. But it's the width, the stems that it puts up, very strong sort of growth, very strong stems, some of these that are going up. But it's the weight of flowers. When that weight of flowers gets to the top and the flowers open, those stems, they do like to flop down. So the stems do need support, and that adds to the rose's width. So sort of 5 feet in width, 5 foot in height plus 5 foot in width. But even though the flowers, they need, the stems need support, you can see the flowers themselves are holding themselves very, very well indeed. So the flowers are not droopy. But yeah, I'm getting a week plus out of these flowers. I find the flowers do well in the wet weather for me, and in the heat. Last year the flowers lasted a little bit longer, but I was watering this rose more last year. Now this rose that is next to it, this is Rose Westerland, and you can see the effects of the heat yesterday. Yesterday that rose there was perfect, but you can see today it's not so well. You can see some more here. Now I'm not saying that Westerland isn't good in the heat. What I'm saying is that these roses are up against it. Lack of water. When these roses are dehydrated, as these will be, the flowers are always going to take the first hit. But this rose, I'm very pleased with, is doing fantastically well. But you can see the flowers there. I'm trying to walk a tightrope with regards to watering at the moment, but it's only fair that you see Rose Pomponella on the same conditions. Its flowers have not batted an eyelid. Yeah, I'm walking a tightrope. I've got the moles, we've got the hosepipe ban, and you know, you put the water down for them, it attracts the moles. So I am really walking a tightrope. But you can see this is how the flowers, they start to age. The biggest problem with this rose is deadheading. You're not going to deadhead all of these flowers as they start to go over, because there's just so many of them. Now last year I waited till all of the buds had flowered and gone over. I waited. This year I was more ruthless, and I waited for first flush. I waited for the majority of the flowers to go over, and then I cut them back. But I cut back many unopened buds. But what I've done was I cut them back, and it has accelerated the second flush for me a little bit, I think, this year, because on this rose there is a gap between the first and the second flush. Another thing is the rose, it doesn't seem to flower towards the bottom. Everything seems to be towards the top. But I think a fantastic rose. It's a rose that I just wish was more readily available in the UK. This is a Kordes rose, and this is a rose that I actually bought from eBay. I was very lucky, but it's a very healthy rose. I'm hoping that YouTube or Google doesn't do its usual with my iPhone recording. I find that when I do a video, the footage will look fine, but the moment it gets uploaded to YouTube, saturation gets added or exposure gets added. Now today we've got a very overcast day. I will check it out. I might even tamper with the saturation. If I do, I'll let you know, but I'm hoping the flowers come out life-like and not oversaturated. But this is a rose. It's a very vibrant pink. Another alternative might be pink flower carpet, I think. But this is a cracking rose, and in my garden at least, I find very long-lasting flowers. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to go and get Will. He's barking. You see, in my videos, I should cut all of this out. I really should. Come on then. Come on, Will. I should cut all of that out. This is an example of rough and ready parts of my videos. Let's do it. The door's closed on itself. I really should. The thing is, I know what people want to see. People want to go from bloom. Come on, Will. People want to go from bloom to bloom. I know that is a fact, but my videos, I think it's more of a journey, a snapshot of what my garden is doing at any one particular time. And even when I walk through that pesky alley, I should cut all that out, but the sound of even that gate unlocking as I do it, you know, by doing it all in one take, I'm hoping that you've got a bearing on my garden. You understand where you are in my garden, the layout. But like I say, it's more a journey and as lifelike as I can get it. But look, this was meant to be a video just on Pomponella, so let's return to Pomponella. This is third flush now for Bliss, just starting to come through, but you can see the heat damage there. These flowers were perfect yesterday. That's as tall as me there, Brother Cadful. You can see the heat damage. Oh, in fact, let me show you this here very quickly. And I'll show you this because this is Rose Penelope Lively. And look, all these, I say this because I believe that this rose is now available in the United States. I think it's just become available. But we had this boiling hot weather yesterday. All of these flowers were here. And you see mine here has done, it seems to be doing very well. And as I said in the previous video, it is a rose, it likes to send up fragile growth. I have cut all that centre bit out. The one I've got in the front garden is doing better. I've got some stronger growth, but this is a rose. It starts a little later in the year, but it's a rose. It does like to flower when it starts. Will, look at that, 10 minutes. And we, come on, Will, come on. I went and got him and everything. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you with Pomponella. This is the star of the show today, and I wanted to show you this rose. And it's fine, it's very healthy, not fragrant, long-lasting flowers that do well. It is very overcast. I'm just hoping the colour comes out well. Right, I've had to cut in on this video because whilst I was editing, I noticed that the saturation when I uploaded it, the video, the saturation and the exposure were off. So I've had to reduce the saturation by 10 and the exposure by 12, and hopefully I've done that to give you the most accurate sort of picture with regards to colour of this particular rose. So I thought I'd just add that, but there was something else that I was going to mention as well. Let's bring the camera around as carefully as I can. It's normally this time of year that I release my best performing rose of the year. It's around this time of year that I do that, but I'm not going to do it this year. I'm going to do it, but I'm going to delay it until about June of next year. So come June of next year, that is when I will release that particular video, best performing rose of this year. And I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. One is because it will give me the most accurate sort of picture, if you like, of what rose done best during the course of the entire year. It will be literally the most accurate picture that I can bring you, but also it's a little savvy of me as well, because I think that's when the majority of people will want to join in. And I say that because my channel is probably the least sort of savvy channel there is on YouTube. But those are the reasons that I'm doing it, and I'm saying this to you just in case there was anyone that was expecting that video anytime soon. But a spoiler alert, I can tell you now that this rose, Gertrude, is going to be amongst my best performing roses of this year in my garden. This particular Gertrude, not the one out the front, but somehow this rose has, again, it's defied gravity, it's flowered well, it's repeated well, it's done fantastic, and of course that fragrance. Right, I'm gonna leave you there, lovely viewer, but that is what I get from Rose Pomponella. A few more things thrown in as well. Right, lovely viewer, I hope you have a lovely day.